Hello everybody, this is your girl just said. This is my first video for the year 2025 and I thought I would start with this one. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. But today I'm going to talk about how to become the first homeowner in your family. I have come across so many people who has told me that no one in their family has ever owned a home. They don't think that they can own a home. They don't think that home ownership is for them. Now, don't get me wrong. If you don't want to be a homeowner, you don't have to be. This video is not to put pressure on you to become a homeowner. Being a homeowner is something that you have to want to do, okay? Because it comes with a lot of responsibilities, right? So if you want to become a homeowner, that's going to be up to you. And if you do want to become a homeowner, we can definitely help you do that. But I want to talk to all the people that are first generation, like nobody in your family has owned a home. Everybody's been renting. Nobody has anything to pass down to anybody because everybody just rents. I want to encourage you to break that cycle. Break that cycle because home ownership is more than just having a roof over your head. You're talking about building equity. We're talking about stability, and we're talking about living a legacy that your children or your children's children can pass on or can carry on. And so I really, really want to encourage you to look into home ownership. And one of the biggest barriers that I have found that keeps people from becoming homeowners is number one, not believing that they can. Okay, they don't believe that it's possible. And I understand. Some people have really gone through so many things in life that they just don't expect anything good to happen for them. And when they don't expect good things, then good things don't happen. So that is the number one barrier, I think, that prevents people from becoming homeowners. It's all about the mindset, what you think about your situation. Okay, what you think makes the difference. Have you ever seen somebody, if they are there and they're thinking happy thoughts, that they're happy? But if they start thinking sad thoughts or bad thoughts, that they're depressed, it all starts. Your depression starts in your mind. Your happiness, it starts in your mind. Whatever you're thinking about, that is what you become. So if you think you can't, you can't. If you think you can, you can't. So if you think you cannot be a homeowner, then you can't. So in order for you to become one, you're probably going to have to change that, right? But we'll talk about that a little further on. But that is the number one hindrance or the number one barrier or obstacle. So we have to work on digging out all these old thoughts and all this old mindset and all these old beliefs. We got to take all of those and throw them out so we can get you to the place where you can actually start to believe that this thing can be possible for you. The other thing, the other hindrance that I see apart from people not believing is financial, right? People just believe not that they don't want to become a homeowner, they just don't think they can afford it right now. And I mean, this is America. This is 2025. Who can afford anything in America these days, right? Have you seen the grocery stores? Anywho, but I'm saying if you are paying rent, you're doing this thing religiously, you're putting out $2,500 a month in rent, you are paying your light bill, you are putting food on the table, you're putting gas in your car, you're doing all of, if you can do all of that as a renter, then you probably can buy a house and own that house. And instead of building that equity and creating wealth for that landlord, you can do it for yourself. All right. So that is two of the hindrances that I see. The other hindrances that I see is, the lack of knowledge about the home buying process. Now, yes, it's a process. And so people tend to kind of push back from buying a house because they don't know what the process entails. And that's why you have your team. That's why you have your real estate agent to help you through the process. So if you feel like, hey, I don't know anything about that, so I don't want to start, that is not a good excuse to not want to become a homeowner. all of these things are fixable. All the hindrances that I told you about, the lack of belief, not believing that you can, the financial situation, not believing that you have enough money for that, and not knowing or not being knowledgeable about the home buying process are all fixable problems. So there. Okay. Okay. So again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. I would love to have you as a follower so you can get more home buyer tips here. Anyways, let's talk about step-by-step things that you can do to help you overcome the 3 hindrances that I just talked about. Number 1, mindset. You know, scripture says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Right? It also says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Whatever it is you're thinking about, that is what you're creating. Whether it's good or bad. Whatever it is you're spending your energy on, your thoughts on, whatever you're consuming, that is what you become. So how can you fix a mindset that says it's never going to happen for me? Change the way you think. Instead of thinking that it's not going to happen for you, start thinking that it can. Start believing that it can. Start believing not only that it can, but believe that you're worth it, right? Believe that you're worth it. Take all these old thoughts, you know, and some of these thoughts and some of these mindsets are not even yours, literally. These are just things that have been handed down to you, just like nobody in your family has owned a home. It's just been handed down to you. And now you're carrying on this legacy that shouldn't be carried on. So some of those mindsets that you have that are not even yours, get rid of them and start thinking about good things. Start thinking about the possibilities of home ownership. Start surrounding yourself with people that can actually help you to make home ownership a possibility. Stop listening to negative people. Stop listening to people that say you can't. Stop listening to people that say, oh, interest rates are too high. Or stop listening to people that says, oh, mortgage is, so you're already paying $2,500. So even if your mortgage is $2,500, you're already paying $2,500 in rent anyway. So don't listen to those people. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay? If you want to become a homeowner, you cannot listen to naysayers. You cannot listen to Uncle Tim. You cannot listen to Auntie Jane. You cannot listen to cousin so-and-so, because none of them know what they're talking about. And not only that, especially if they've never owned a home. Why would you take advice from somebody that hasn't been through what you are going through or what you are experiencing, right? So you got to change your mindset, read books, you know, start thinking about positive things, start thinking about things that you can do to change your mindset. You know, if you're listening to bad things, start listening to good things. If you're listening to weird music or listening to depressing stuff, start listening to some exciting stuff, so some happy stuff that's going to change your mindset and change the way you think. Because it's all, whether you buy a house or not, it's going to start in your mind. You're going to have to first buy the house in your mind first. You have to start owning the home in your mind first before you can physically own the home. If you can't own it in your mind, you're not going to own it physically. So change the mindset. So the other thing that I believe that you should do, actionable steps that you can take, is to assess your finances. Look at your credit score. Look at your budget, you know, look at what's coming in, look at what's going out, look at where you can save, look at where you can cut off expensive, you know, take a good look at your finances, because sometimes you might think that you can't afford a house, and you might, if you actually sit down and look at your finances, you might find extra monies in places that you did not even believe, or you did not even think that you had extra monies. You might find out, you know, that you have like 10 subscriptions of whatever that you don't ever use. Then you can cancel them, and that money, hey, new money, right? So you have to sit down and you have to take a look at your finances. And I say finances, and I did include credit score because I'm not going to try to make this video long, but put them all together because you can't do one without the other. Because when you're buying a house, your lender is going to look at your finances, they're going to look at your credit score, and they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. So you want to take a good sit down look at all of this and make sure that you're understanding what your finances are like, and if there are things that you need to do, actionable steps that you need to take to improve your finances or to improve your credit score or to reduce your debt to income, you can do that, right? So sit down, take a good look at your finances. Don't be like afraid to look at it. You know, like when people call and say, I want to buy a house, and you're like, do you know what your credit score is? Nope, I haven't looked at it. Well, we're going to have to know that before we buy a house. Okay. Do you know, what are your finances are like? How much money do you have coming in the house? How much money you have going out? Well, when you buy a house, it's going to come with more responsibilities than renting a house. So there are maintenance that has to be done. After you buy the house, you have to maintain the house, right? After you buy the house, you have to pay the light bill. If the roof caves in, you got to fix that. If the plumbing, breaks, you have to fix that. If the AC doesn't work, you have to fix that. The water heater is all over the place, is busted, you have to do that. So when you are thinking of home ownership, it's not just the roof over your head, it's actually maintaining that roof over your head. It's actually building the equity in the home. It's actually building that legacy, taking care, making sure you have something, because if you don't take care of the house, it's going to fall apart. And then you'll be in the same place where you started and don't have anything to leave for your sons or your daughters or your nieces or your nephews or whoever it is that you want to start building a legacy for. Or whoever it is you want to be the first example. Be the first. It's okay to be the first. Be the first one to buy the house. Be the first one to go to college. Be the first one to be the nurse. Be the first one to be the doctor. To be the first one. Just be the first and not be afraid or ashamed of doing that, and not allow the situations that you're in prevent you from taking the step, from moving out. I mean, I don't understand how people love chaos. I really don't. I don't understand how you find yourself in a mess and don't want to get out. I mean, yeah, I don't. So don't be afraid of being the first, right? So you want to definitely look at the finances. And I am going to put a link below in the description with a financial readiness checklist that you can look into if you're interested in that. Actionable steps number 3 that I think that you can take. Remember, I said all the hindrances that I mentioned to you are fixable. I am telling you how to fix them so that you can become the first homeowner in your family. You can start something new and you can start something different. Number 3, explore assistance program. Now, why do I say that? Because when we talk about looking at your finances, you might look at your finances and see certain things in there and just give up, right? Because you might feel like, well, I can do this or I can do that. And I don't want that to be you, right? I want you to be able to, if you look at your finances and you see things that needs to be done, I want you to be able to fix them. And I want you to know that there are assistance available for first-time home buyers. There's assistance for first-generation home buyer. There's assistance if you buy a house in a specific area. There's assistance if you buy a house in a specific county. So you just have to find the programs so that you can use the programs. Does that make sense? So explore it. I'm going to put a list of all my favorite programs down in the descriptions as well, so you can, go check them out for yourself. Now, the last and final step that I believe you should take if you are wanting to become the first homeowner in your family. I love saying that, the first. in your family is to build your support team. And I believe, I say it last, but it's just as important as all the others, right? Building your team, finding the right people on your side, finding that realtor or that agent that knows about down payment assistance, finding that lender that can connect you with other programs, finding that lender that can walk you through that process and tell you what to expect, finding that lender or that real estate agent that can walk you step by step through the home buying process. Let me tell you, it makes a difference, the team that you choose to work with. Again, I'm a local real estate agent in Tampa, Florida, and I love helping people. I love turning renters into homeowners. I am attaching a link to my free consultation. It's 15 minutes free. If you want to have this quick chat with me, check out the link in the description. Get yourself on my calendar. Let's talk about what we can do, what your next step will be to help you to become a homeowner in 2025. Guys, we're not getting younger, right? And if we don't change things now, it makes it way harder for the people that are coming behind us. So we have got to get to the place where we realize that change has to start with me, right? I cannot do the same thing that everybody did and expect to get different results from everybody, right? If my mama did this and she never bought a house, my daddy did it, my uncle, my auntie, my nenen, my powing, that's what we say in Dominica, nenen and powing. If they did that and they all have the same result, if I keep doing what they're doing, I am going to get the same results, right? And I'm going to end up being a renter forever, right? And I'm not going to have anything to show for it. I would have sunk thousands of dollars, just literally throwing it away, building somebody else's portfolio when I can actually invest that money into my own self and create a legacy for my family. Buying a house is one of the quickest way to start building wealth for your family. It's one of the quickest way to build stability for your family. When you have families under one roof with the same mindset, building and creating together, it's a beautiful thing, right? But if you're renting, you never know when the landlord is going to kick you out. You never know when the landlord is going to sell his property. You just never know when he's even going to increase your rent. And it seems like some landlords just increase rent just because they want to, right? So if you're in that place where you are doing the thing, you have the job, you have the credit score, it's FHA really only requires a 580, but most lenders are going to ask you for 620, 640, right? So if you have the credit score, you have the job, you only need 2 years employment, you have the job. And even if you are self-employed, you can still buy a house. Again, it's all about the right connection and education, okay? So if you have the job or whether you're self-employed and you have the credit score, your debt to income ratio, you're gonna have to have that at a decent range. So that's why it's important for you to look at the finances. So if you need to reduce your debt, you can. If you need to make more money, because we really, when it comes to these things, you really solve all your problems. Just make more money, right? If you make more money, you'll be able to pay off your debts. You'll be able to save more, right? So it's doing that, but you won't know that if you don't look at it. So home ownership is possible. It's possible here in Tampa, Florida, and it doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't even matter your age. You're not too old to buy a house. For some of you that are saying, well, I am 65 or whatever, you are not too old. If you want, you're never too old to start a new legacy. Did you guys know, I know if you do read the Bible, but Caleb, what's it, Caleb? He says, Caleb was 80 years old. Remember that in the story? And he said, I want my mountain. Give me my mountain. The man's 80 years old. What mountain, right? If he can claim what God said was his, he was 80 years old. He said, give me my stuff. I want you to have that same mentality. Look at your life. Get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Get sick and tired of being where you are. Want to make the change. You have to want to make the change. You have to want to do it. And just do it, right? Find your people in your corner that's going to help you to do it, because that's how you're going to do it. Having people in your corner that's going to help you, that's going to encourage you, that's going to push you, that's going to say, yes, you can. Yes, you can. There are many programs that you can use. You can stack some of these programs that takes you to a place where you can come to the table with little to zero money out of your pocket. I've had instances where people came to the closing table with 35 cents. You know, I've had them where they got $1,000 check back, right? So there are many different scenarios on how you can buy a house. I just want you to know you can, right? So you have what it takes to break the cycle and to become the first homeowner in your family. You totally have what it takes, right? Start by taking the first step by believing you can. It's going to start there. Download the free resources that I have. Comment below if you have questions. You know, if you have questions that you need answers. Schedule a free consultation. Do what you can to get you to where you need to go. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. And I can't wait to congratulate you and hand you your first keys to your first house. So here's to you becoming the first homeowner in your family. I'll see you in the next one. Remember, believe that you can and you will. Bye.